I can still clearly recall the precise moment my stomach fell. It was a calm Thursday night. No storm clouds. As I folded napkins at the dinner table, the only sounds coming from outside were the clinking of silverware and the hum of the kitchen fan. The following day, I ironed my clothes while helping my wife, Adeline, get ready for what I thought was her brother Mason's wedding. Even my old shoes, the ones I only wear to events that demand smiles, were polished that afternoon. Shut. Excited for tomorrow? I asked in a light-hearted tone, tucking a napkin into a rose shape. Adeline bent her head slightly, blinking, as if she hadn't heard me. Then, in the flattest voice I've ever heard, and with eyes narrowed like I'd just claimed the sky was, "Green?" She said something I didn't expect. She said it was last week. At first, I thought she was joking, so I waited for the sarcastic grin, the snarky jab she usually followed her jokes with, but nothing came. She reached for her phone, tapped the screen, and without a word, handed it to me. Photos. There they were. Mason and his bride Lucy standing beneath a white rose-adorned arch. Mason's best man, her cousin Jace, wiping away tears. Guests gathering by the lake, raising glasses under string lights. The photographer had done a fantastic job capturing everything. And then I saw my wife, Adeline, wearing a deep emerald dress I had never seen before. Hair curled, makeup flawless. She looked stunning. She was supposed to be there. Everyone else was. And I kept flipping through the pictures, looking, searching. Maybe I was in the background. Maybe I'd just forgotten I was there. No. Not a corner of my jacket. Not even a shadow. I wasn't there. I stared at her, carefully put the phone down. My throat was dry. I was still waiting for an explanation, an apology, anything human. But she just went back to folding napkins, humming, to herself like nothing had happened. From her sister Mira's couch, I heard, "Didn't we tell you?" She said it casually, like she was talking about the weather. I looked over, legs crossed, bottle of red wine in hand, scrolling through her phone. Deline, their mother, sat beside her, laughing. "Oh my God," she wheezed, wiping tears from her eyes. "I thought we told you." They all laughed. Laughed. No apology, no concern. Instead, they acted like I was the forgetful one, like I was at fault for not magically showing up at a wedding I didn't even know was happening. I stood there, napkin in hand, feeling like the floor had fallen out from under me. The only sounds were the clink and the hum of the fan. Just me. And the knowledge that I had become a stranger in my own home. Not an oversight, not a mistake, a message. And it was clear. I didn't matter. I wasn't important enough to be included or even missed. So I didn't argue. Didn't ask why. I picked up the dishes, silently, scraping rice, scooping sauce, placing them in the sink like it was any other night. But my mind kept going back to that photo. Her smile. That moment of joy next to her brother, as if nothing could make her day better. And maybe I should have been there. Maybe she should have told me. I had been asking for weeks. What's the dress code? Should I get Mason a gift? She brushed me off every time. Said the plans kept changing. That night, we went to bed as usual. She scrolled through her phone until she fell asleep. Back turned. No words, no touch. Stared at the ceiling. Numb. Not sad. Not angry. Just empty. Thinking about all the times her family planned things without me. Group emails I was never on. Dinners I somehow missed. And how Mira used to joke that I was the one they subtracted. Had laughed then. Now I realized it wasn't a joke. It wasn't negligence. It was deliberate. I had been excluded on purpose. What hurt wasn't just the betrayal. It was how calmly they did it, like it was normal. Like they'd done it before. I was just the last to notice. I grabbed my phone in the dark and stared at that picture again. Adeline. The emerald. Dress. That lakeside glow. Smiling. Without me. And then something inside me clicked. Not anger. Not revenge. Just a quiet, cold whisper. They thought I would stay silent. They didn't know I hadn't been sleeping. Next to her, I lay still. Awake. Eyes. On the ceiling. And I kept asking myself, how long have I been invisible in this family? At some point, I grabbed my phone again, zoomed in, opened the wedding photos, looked at each face, every smile, every glass raised, everyone was there. Except me. Not a single shot, not even the back of my head, not an elbow, not a shadow. Because I wasn't invited. Because I wasn't meant to be. And it wasn't just the wedding. It was everything. I thought about Mason's house, how I helped him renovate it. I called the plumber when a pipe burst, even paid the difference myself when the quote came in high. Then the fencing, then the breaker panel. I tiled the kitchen. I thought I was helping, family. But now I realize I was just useful. Not loved, not included. Useful. Like an app, open when needed, closed when done. As Adeline shifted beside me in her sleep, she looked peaceful, like someone who had just hosted a successful event. I wondered, had she smiled during the toast? Had she lied about where I was, said I was on a work trip, or worse, had no one asked about me at all? My stomach churned. At 5 a.m., I walked around the house like a ghost, made coffee, skipped breakfast, sat at the dining table where we once laughed and planned our lives. Then I opened my laptop. Not out of revenge, just clarity. I went line by line. Through our finances, renovations, donations, favors, tens of thousands of dollars spent over 2 years. I never asked for thanks. Never kept track. But now, it all mattered, because I finally saw it. I wasn't family. I was infrastructure. I was useful, not valued. Around 7 a.m., Adeline walked in, yawning in her robe. She smiled, kissed my cheek. "Morning," I said. Even I was surprised at how calm I sounded. She poured herself coffee, sat down, scrolling through her phone. I watched her sip, relaxed, unafraid, no guilt, no shame. "What are you working on?" she asked, not looking up. "Just going over a few numbers," I replied. She nodded, uninterested, and I realized she wasn't expecting me to say anything, not about the wedding.